For me, I don't find Peter Andre any more believable in this video than back when he used to do those Iceland videos. Do you remember that? He used to advertise a supermarket. He was telling people, come down to Iceland, get a great deal. Now he's saying, come down to your NHS centre, get a great vaccine. I wouldn't believe a word he says or his partner. Hi everyone, now you may have seen the mainstream media heavily promoting a video on Peter Andre's YouTube channel that shows his supposed wife, Emily McDonough, taking the BS-19 vaccine. We're going to ask, what is their motive for this video? Despite Peter Andre and the medical doctor's relationship being played out in front of the camera over the years, we're going to put aside Peter's apparent desperate need for attention, which has included numerous reality shows with his cabaret act first wife, in which we are supposed to believe they procreated. Recently, Peter Andre's publicised battle with BS-19 was the subject of another of his videos, but in this one they stress the importance and benefits of getting vaccinated. Now we're going to see if this couple would have an alternative motive for making such a piece, or is it just about educating people to keep themselves safe? Forget that. As a doctor, Madonna's job is peddling these drugs and making them seem as appealing as possible, as that is what she's paid for. Let's see if we come across any other reasons these people have to push the vaccine besides views, revenues and subscribers, which they constantly beg for throughout this video.
Just waiting for Emily now. Oh yeah, it's kind of a real moment. Hi, lovely.
Okay, this is where Peter arrives at the car park. He's about to meet his wife after work and they're going to go and get her shot. And he makes this very bizarre comment. It's kind of like a real moment. Now, is that suggesting that the majority of moments in Peter's life aren't real? And that it's all just a fabrication? I don't know, we'll watch on. He now talks to this nurse about a load of stuff, but we're going to skip forward to another part which I find a bit strange.
There's a lot of people that are struggling to accept the vaccine. We're hearing it everywhere. People that don't believe it's real or it's a control mechanism. I mean, what do you say to something like that? Because it's got to be very difficult when you're here trying to do something to help people.
I think, it's really, we've had a really positive response. There are some groups that may be at risk that really should come forward, and we are advocating that they do come.
Well, I mean, you guys are doing a fab job. Today's going to be it's an amazing thing that you guys are allowing us to film this, because I think it's really good for people to see.
I think it is. I think it is.
And thank you for the access.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, so here Peter wants us to believe that this is a very real moment, just him and his wife coming in and filming. But it makes you wonder, who's actually recording this part of them hand-gelling themselves? It means that they must have a third person with them, or maybe a director. Maybe not quite a real moment as they might have led us to believe. Here we get to see Peter's wife take the jab and everything.
Starting at 7 and not finishing till like 7:30, so full on clinic.
How are you feeling?
Yeah, good. I feel like I'm part of something really important, and I don't know, I feel grateful really that I'm able to get the vaccine, and that's why I wanted to document it, to show people that, doctors, NHS workers are getting this done and we're not scared, and we just want to protect other people, protect our patients, protect our colleagues, and so that everyone can carry on doing the good work they're doing, basically.
Let's go. Being in here and seeing how many people are here, and speaking to the nurse, to Laura, and she has said that it's been so busy since 7 o'clock this morning. It just goes to show how incredible this is.
We've just heard Emily stressing about why it's so important that we see her get taken the vaccine, and she wants to show that NHS staff are doing it and they're not scared of it. We will see if that's exactly the reason, or if there may be any other factors that motivate her to make this video in a bit. Also, Peter goes on about how busy these people are. Considering how busy they are, they do keep this nurse occupied for a long time, making their piece of propaganda.
And as far as you're aware, you've not had coronavirus itself in the last 28 days? No, I have probably been exposed to it in the last 28 days from this gentleman, but I didn't get any symptoms, and I was testing myself twice weekly, and I was negative on all occasions. So,
She points out that she was testing herself twice weekly and negative on all occasions. Interesting, they weren't too worried about showing you that procedure, and yet they are desperate to make you see how important the vaccine is, but they obviously don't think the testing's that important. We were about to see a clip of Peter getting a test, however, but watch this clip from that earlier video and see how it played out.
I'm going to go and get the COVID test done, so you can all laugh your heads off when you're seeing this thing go up my nostrils. Okay, I'm gutted you guys did not see that. I'm going to let the team tell you how that went.
Well, I mean, you did do well. There was... I'll let this do explain.
So we weren't allowed to film.
Oh, what do you know, they weren't allowed to film. And did you notice how they were all passing it on to someone else? Oh, I'll let Emily explain what happened. No, I'll let the kids tell you how that went on. You know, they had nothing to say. Coincidentally, they weren't able to film it, Peter being tested. They also made what is absolutely a vile practice of sticking a probe right to the back of someone's nose appear like a joke. It isn't. Never let anyone test you. Flat out refuse till your dying breath. That's what I'm going to do. No one will ever test me. Anyway, we'll carry on with this propaganda piece.
Oh, you're allergic to non-steroidal anti-inflammatories.
yeah, so all of them basically. What happens when you have So I get kind of like, I've never had anaphylaxis, I don't have an EpiPen, but I get sort of like mouth swelling. But obviously I just don't take them.
So that's no reason not to go ahead with the vaccine. So that's.
We now hear that Emily is allergic to all non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, but of course that's no reason to be worried. Take the vaccine regardless. It's interesting how she refers to her symptoms as mouth swelling. Are we sure this person's a doctor? The term is angioedema.
And I've never had a problem with another vaccine. You know, I have my flu every year, I've had whoop and cough, you know, I've had a lot and it's been fine.
Please tell the answer to the next question is yes, so I can get a major scoop. But you're not pregnant?
No.
God, I'd like to know that actually. That's an interesting point. You know, the flu vaccine, obviously you've had whooping cough.
Yeah, I had that in pregnancy.
So obviously vaccines are very commonplace, but we just don't talk about them as much anymore.
Well, I think, you know, we just get used to the other vaccines that we have. I think we just don't really think much of it. And I think people are worried about this because it's something new, but I think, you know, it's just another vaccine. And not only that, it's vaccinating against something which is incredibly important to vaccinate against. You know, the reason we're all in lockdown at the moment is because of coronavirus. So we need to try and come together.
Okay, I'll just pick Emily up on a couple of points there. If this is just another vaccine like all the rest of them, then why is there such a heavy push to get people to have it, even if they don't want to? And also she says that the reason we're all in lockdown is because of the coronavirus. Well, no, again, that's not true. It is the government's response to all this reporting of the supposed pandemic.
Can you understand, let's just say something here, can you understand how some people are nervous? For example, if someone suffers any type of anxiety.
I think what you have to remember is that this is a medication like many other medications that we take, and it's gone through the same safety trials and processes and regulations as other medications and other vaccines. But I think because this one has been so much in the news and so topical, I do think people are obviously worried, and I think we're just in a climate at the moment of feeling scared and anxious about lots of things. So
are there other vaccines that are approved quickly and, you know, that have been in the past? In other words, that's what a lot of people's fear is, that it's been approved so quick. But
well, I think we've got to remember that it's had the backing and you know, it's had unlimited budget, the best scientists in the country working on it around the clock. You know, it's just been prioritised basically because of the pandemic, and that's why it's gone through maybe slightly quicker than other vaccines. That does not mean it's not safe, and it doesn't mean that they've skipped on any of the safety precautions.
Yeah, well, they can't skip on any of the safety
I think
precautions.
That's the key message to get through.
Yeah.
Happy to proceed?
They want you to put a lot of trust in their words here. Do you have any reason to feel anxious, Peter asks. She just dismisses it completely. Of course you don't. Lots of money's been chucked into this, an unlimited budget actually, and if that doesn't give you a cause of concern, I don't know what will. There's no way I'll ever put my trust in a government and a pharmaceutical industry that is completely motivated by greed, by profit. Not a chance. And it's not a medication just like any other, because with medications you generally take because you're ill, not just because you're worried you might get ill. That is a ridiculous reason for taking medication, particularly one such as this that can have such a big effect on your body. We will watch on. We're soon getting to the point now, the moment we've all been waiting for, Emily getting her shot, and we may see the true motive for this video coming up soon. We're getting there, don't worry.
Yeah, I'm happy to proceed.
Guys, I'm going to show the whole process here so everyone can see.
Clean the top of the vial. So we keep the vial in this little box because it's so fragile. If it gets knocked over, we would need to replace it. We wouldn't be able to administer it. It also is sensitive to light, so we keep it in the dark, and also it likes to be kept cold, so it's a good little place to keep it.
Can I just say thank you for sharing the process with us, and just hopefully to make people feel less worried about it.
Here we go.
So it's 0.3 mils. Just a tiny little volume to give. Not very steady.
No,
hand.
I have to show these things because a lot, you've seen all these things about, and I just want to make sure that everyone's seeing that this is an actual process that's happening to thousands and thousands of people every day.
Now here Peter wants to record the process and show it is a real process, and what I actually think he's referring to is clips such as this where we've seen the press pretending that they're injecting people, but as you can clearly see, nothing's being stuck into these people. We've also seen other clips where there's no needle on the end, people haven't even unrolled their sleeve of their arms up. Very suspect. So considering Peter wants people to see the whole process, see it from being pulled out of the vial to being injected in the arm, does make you wonder why they have two cuts in this scene already. It's not exactly a complete from bottle to arm process, but whatever.
Just relax arms, so you can just drop it down by the side of you, so it's super floppy, that's it. I'll try not to put my hands in the way. Right, really well done. There we go, all finished. If you want to press on there for me, fab job.
Okay, the only thing with that scene that I think could look a little bit suspect is the way they disposed of that needle. They didn't exactly chuck it deep in the sharps bin, did they? It's kind of left on top, almost like it's the dummy needle that they're going to save for later. Normally you dispose of those things, seal it. You don't just leave them on top. In a bit, Peter's going to ask how many injections this nurse has done, and she's going to show us a load of empty vials to demonstrate she's used tons of them. Doesn't look like they've got rid of many needles according to that bin. That's one thing I don't understand. That is not a proper safe sharps bin.
Wow, a big moment!
Wow, that is a big moment.
Thank you so much. Don't even feel a thing. Very well done.
Well, honestly, thank you so much. How many of these have you done today?
Oh, I've done all of these vials, and there's 6 in a vial, so quite a lot of vials.
Oh, thank you, Laura.
Oh, so that's like 30 something, maybe more. So Emily, you've just had the vaccine. It was that quick.
It was
That's it.
brilliantly administered.
And now the nurse seems to suggest that the moment they've all been waiting for wasn't actually the vaccine. It's a little bit of card, which she goes on to say could be needed to get if you want to travel in the future. I think that's rubbish. There's no way a crappy little piece of cardboard will be a requirement for travelling. Who knows, could be wrong, but I think that's rubbish, just trying to sell the vaccine again. Is also said during this moment, which for me highlights a potential ulterior motive for this video.
Yeah, oh yeah, not even a drop. And then, this is the moment you've been waiting for. Oh! Yay!
And guess who did it? Pfizer.
Oh, is it Pfizer? It's Pfizer, sorry, you got that
Emily's
right.
brother works for Pfizer.
Oh, really? This is going to be your proof that you've had the vaccination. So, as we just said, it's the Pfizer. So, when you come back, you'll have a second dose of the Pfizer as well. Hopefully, they should have given you a date for the second one.
They did, yeah.
Perfect.
It's in April.
I'll put today's date on there.
Do you need the date that they gave me, or it doesn't matter? No, it's in April.
So, just pop it on there when you've got the date to hand. When you come back, you do need to bring this card with you. Super important to keep it safe, and in the future it may be what you need for travel and stuff like that. So I recommend maybe taking a photo of it or like a photocopy. But yeah, that's
I'm not sure if you heard that bit where Peter and Emily start getting all excited because it's a Pfizer vaccine, and they then have to tell the nurse, oh, Emily's brother works for Pfizer. And now this is where I'm starting to wonder, is this really why they've done the video? Would you really be that excited just because they've used the company that your brother works for? Not really. You might say, oh, coincidence, my brother works for them. Now I have reached out to Emily and I've asked her what position her brother holds in the company. I'd be curious to know who he is. Is this her ulterior motive for promoting a vaccine? Is her brother someone who's been responsible for the development and has a vested interest in it selling loads? And by selling, you may think that you're getting it for free, but it's the NHS who are the customers here. You're not the customer, you're just the product, or a byproduct even. It's the vaccines that are the product. I did ask on Twitter, but at the time of recording this video I've not had any response. If I do, I will let you know. The only other thing I noticed about this video was how they tried to give the sound effects. If you listen in the background, it sounds like a very lively social environment that they're in. It's like, come down to your local mass vaccine centre and catch up with people again. It's a great environment, it's very safe. This is the idea they seem to be selling, but when you actually look in the reflection, you can see that room is pretty much empty. So I wonder if they're putting a sound effect on top of this.
Well, I feel like we've all come together as a team, even people in different departments, isn't it? Do you kind of feel like you've got a really big family?
Yes, because we don't know really everyone here. We've never met before. Obviously, as people.
For me, I don't find Peter Andre any more believable in this video than back when he used to do those Iceland videos. Do you remember that? He used to advertise a supermarket. He was telling people, come down to Iceland, get a great deal. Now he's saying, come down to your NHS centre, get a great vaccine. I wouldn't believe a word he says, or his partner, or wife, whatever she's supposed to be. Do you really believe that person's a doctor? Ugh, if you've ever come across her in the NHS, let me know. She hasn't answered me on Twitter yet. As always, guys, I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Let me know what you think on this one, and take care.